So today I'm going to tell you guys the story about the pearl stingray that you guys seen in the black diamond stingray unboxing video. You see, this story actually starts about 2 months ago when I got a phone call from Jeff at One Fish, Two Fish. He told me he had a pearl stingray in stock and he would sell it to me really cheap. And I asked him why. He told me that it was a special order for a customer that simply never came in to get it. Now the thing with stingrays is they have a lot of special needs. He has to dedicate a relatively big tank to this one fish, has to give it a specific diet, and do a tremendous amount of water changes, all for this one fish that's probably never going to sell locally. My answer? No. Currently I'm in the market for black diamond stingrays, and in fact I'm selecting them out now. But even if I did want it, my grow out tank isn't even built yet. And that was kind of the last I heard of it. Until the day before the black diamonds arrived, I decided I'd run up to his store, which is about an hour away, and I wanted to do a filming of a tour of the store, basically an update video. You guys will remember about a year ago we did one at that store, did a full tour. I wanted to go back because so much has changed and there's so much to update you guys on. While there, I seen the pearl stingray. And well, this happened.
Would be our kind of store mascot. We've got a pearl stingray.
Yeah, I've seen him earlier. I need him.
Well, and you have a tank for him, which is what I like.
Like a suction cup.
Yeah.
You just get it. As soon as you get it under the lip, he'll go in. Nice and simple for him. Hopefully he keeps his tail out, but this is quite a deep net, so that's hard to say, really. Worst thing is that he can get his tail caught. I really don't want that. Oh, there you go. There you go. You're out. I had to. Now, instead of bagging the ray up, I'm only about an hour away, so we filled up a small box and placed him in it, making it easier to get him in and out of it. However, when I got home, in order to acclimate him to this aquarium's temperature, I had to pour in a cup of water every few minutes until I brought the temperature in the box up to the temperature of the aquarium, then scooped him out and tossed him in. Less than 24 hours later, the black diamonds arrived. Now, a lot of you won't notice this or even say anything, but I'm going to call myself out and say that I should not have added fish from 2 different sources to the same tank at first without quarantining them. You have to quarantine all new arrivals regardless of where you get them. However, there's a few things in this situation that are going to side with me. First of all, the pearl came from an aquarium that was quarantined off to itself. It was in a closed system, meaning it had its own filtration and heating, got its own water changes, and he was on a specific diet. And being in the store for almost 2 months would have been long enough to show any signs of any issues that he might have. The black diamonds, on the other hand, came from a private breeder, basically a hobbyist that had a pair that gave birth to a bunch of pups. Again, no worry of contamination or anything going on there, but still, when I get them, I'm quarantining them no matter what. So even though I have a very little chance of something going wrong, they will be spending at least 2 months in this tank while I'm able to grow them out and quarantine them in properly. But why would I get a pearl when I finally have black diamonds? Well, that's where this story becomes interesting for me. You see, if you've never dealt with stingrays or if you have no real experience with them, when you see one for the first time, you're pretty amazed and interested in them. And if the fish is eating and healthy and active, you expect that that's what the ray is supposed to look like. However, if you have some experience with rays and you've been around them, you'll be able to tell the difference. And when I first seen this guy, the first thing I saw was he's become emaciated, meaning that he's become dangerously thin. The first thing I noticed was his tail was thin, his hip bones were showing, his back was sunken, and his forehead was sunken in. These are all classic signs of an emaciated ray. The next thing after that is becoming lethargic, meaning that it refuses food. The next thing after that, well, it dies. I explained this to Jeff and he agreed. He said that the ray is active and eating. There's no reason for us to think there's anything wrong with it until I pointed out these signs. And like I said, if you're not experienced with rays or if you haven't been around them a lot, you're not going to be able to spot these things out. So this isn't the store's fault. They brought in the fish on customer's request. Customer never showed up. Store is stuck with it. Jeff calls me, I'm not willing to take it, and sit there with it for a month or two or however long it was in the store for. They fed it, they did their water changes, but slowly over time it was dropping weight. However, when it comes to these pups, they drop weight really quickly. And after discussing this with Jeff, we both kind of agreed that I've got to take this guy. He's never going to sell here and or have the opportunity to be provided for properly. So we toss him in the box, go to the till, and I'm ready to pay. The Pearl had a price tag of $800, and to put this in perspective, Pearl Stingrays typically go from $800 to $1,200 each. And that's pretty conservative. But when we get up to the till, Jeff tells me the total is $0. He tells me that he's willing to take the loss on the fish just to see it go to a proper home. And to be honest, I was a little bit taken back by that. Obviously, for a fish store to take a loss, it's a big loss because they're not getting rich over there. But it just kind of reminded me that there's still good local fish store owners out there, and it made me proud that this is mine. To know that he's willing to put the health of the animal above his bottom line meant a lot to me. So of course, I took him home, and like I said, he was pretty emaciated. However, I did get him eating, and with daily water changes and plenty of food, this guy's gonna bounce back to being nice and fat in no time. But like I once said, I'm never going to rescue another fish, but as a ray keeper, when you see a beautiful ray like this in person and you know it needs your help, there's not a whole lot left you can do but help it. Obviously, it doesn't hurt that it's a beautiful pearl stingray, and with time, pearls get better and better. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm just going to give you guys a quick update on this guy. It's been 27 days since I first picked him up, and a lot has changed with him. There's a couple of things I didn't mention about him though. First and foremost, he did have some heater burn on his nose, or at the front of his disc. There was an exposed heater in that aquarium, and one of the things you can't have are exposed heaters in a stingray aquarium. You gotta protect them or put them in line or in your sump. The second thing was he had a chunk of his disc missing. The disc has regenerated and the heater burn has healed. Most importantly though, he's put on a tremendous amount of weight. His hip bones are no longer showing, he's got a nice fat belly, his head is no longer dented, and of course his back is no longer kind of concave. And it's only been 4 weeks, so he's made leaps and bounds towards recovery. Now it's going to be really difficult for me to really show any appreciation to Jeff and you know, really putting the fish first and allowing me to take it, even though I was willing to pay for it. So in order for me to thank him, I'd also like to ask you guys to join me in doing so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the description below to his Facebook fan page for his store. I'd love it if you guys would go there, show him support, hit the like button, but also leave a comment on the page thanking him. And then within a week, I'm going to randomly pick one of you, and I'm going to give one of you a signed copy of my book, shipped anywhere in the world. I don't care where it is. Now, this isn't a contest. I simply want to give you guys an incentive to joining me in thanking Jeff at One Fish, Two Fish for being such a stand-up guy and setting a really good example for other local fish stores to follow. So I like the story behind this guy. We rescued him. You guys are going to be able to see him from going emaciated and skinny to nice and fat to growing up into a nice healthy adult. And I'm really excited to bring you guys along for that ride. So if you're not subscribed to this channel yet and that's something you'd like to come along for, make sure you do. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I'd also like to thank you for watching, and if you join me next week, I'll have a new video for you.